Morning, guys and gals. Froggy here. That's right, that's a fan. What I'm going to show you today is how to replace a fan. You might want to notice that it's spinning. So why would I replace a fan that's working? Well, can you hear that humming, whooping noise? I'll get up close to it. It just makes an annoying noise, and when you're trying to sleep and the fan's on and then your mind starts to focus on this noise, well, anyway, we're going to make the noise go away. Now this replacement fan right here, it's the same size, AC power, but it doesn't have a remote control. Now I think I'm going to be able to use the remote control that I've already got from the other fan. You've got the controller here, and then the receiver unit is inside the fan. I think I'm going to be able to take that and put it in the new fan. The only reason I might not be able to is if the housing isn't big enough to accept it. It's about the size of a pack of cigarettes. So that's about how big they are. So anyway, let's get started on this. First thing, kill the power to the circuit. Okay, there we go. The fan is slowing down, so we killed the right circuit. Just go to your main panel, and mine are all labeled because that's the way I wanted it, so I know which circuits to flip. But yours might not be labeled, so it's trial and error till you find the right one. Just leave the fan on spinning, and then, you know, maybe you can have two people flipping breakers, and when you hit the right one, you'll know it. Checking out all the parts. Most fans basically have 3 wires, and then the remote is wired in between your power supply and the fan motor, basically. I'll get into that some more as I take the old one down, and I'm going to take the remote out of the old one. More or less looks like all the parts are here. I think I'll open this up, and they'll have a parts list, and I'll double check it. Okay, here's your section that shows you all the parts you're supposed to have. Those 3 are right there, and then all the rest of it: blades, canopy assembly, the down rod, the motor, blade arm assembly that just goes between the motor and the blade. It's all here. So I'm going to start taking down the old one. First off, I'm removing the blades from the old fan, and the screws are on the top side. They shouldn't be in there. No, they're not in there very tight at all. And I'm just doing this to make the whole thing easier to handle. I guess you could try to take it down without doing this, but I like to make it easy. This clearance is a little weird on this last one because I'm hitting here, but I think I can get it. Yeah, I can get it on an angle. Okay, so remove all the blades. Okay, here's a shot with the blades off. Now I'm going to get up to the canopy, and I think I can pry that little top ring. I think it's just a snap ring. I'm going to go and find out, and then I can get at the screws that are holding that. Getting this trim piece off was a little tricky, so I want to do a little segment here. What I've got is, this is an automotive tool for taking trim pieces off of the inside of your car, like door panels. It gets in behind fasteners and pops them open, and I thought it might be a good tool to use to get this trim piece off. This is got a tab there. You can see the tab right there. And on the other side, there, see the tab? Well, what you have to do is distort the circle, the circumference of it, distort it just enough by prying on one side. You have to figure out where the tab is, and I did that by wiggling it like this. I could tell there were 2 tabs, and then I approximated as close as I could to where I think the tab is, and I pried it, and it popped right off. Now I can take my screwdriver and undo 2 screws that will loosen up the canopy assembly. I think this one has a little hanging device, so that because these motors are heavy, and when you get it up there you hang it and then you swing it to get it attached to be able to put the screws in. Yeah, see, this has got a little hanger on this end, so the weight of the whole assembly, you just have to pop it up there and then swing this part up and screw it on the other side. Here's my remote. This is what I want to transfer into the other one. So now I'm going to undo the electrical connections, and then I'll be able to lift it off of this hanger thing, and then I'll be able to drop it down. So here we go. Coming out of the ceiling, you're going to have a bare wire or a green wire, a white wire, and a black wire. That's all. Just 3 wires coming out of the ceiling. This here is an antenna for the remote, and then there's some other connections that I'll talk about when I get it down. So those 3 are all you have to disconnect from the ceiling to drop it down. Actually, because the remote stays with the mount up here, we have to disconnect a different set of wires first. So these wires, a white, a black, a ground, a green or bare and ground, and this red one, which all go to the remote, which is going to stay up here when I drop down the motor. Those all have to be disconnected, so that's 4 to disconnect rather than 3. Those 2 rectangle holes, that's where the hook goes, and I'll show you. Up there, it looks kind of fuzzy, maybe come out better. That's where the hook is there. So the whole thing just hangs on there and then swings up. Well, you hang it so that you can make all your wire connections. It's a convenience thing, so you don't need 2 people. And then you swing it up and you put your 2 screws in to hold it permanently. The remote in this case was held up into this bracket assembly with some double stick tape. So now I've got the remote loose. I can take this old bracket out and fit my new bracket in there, and now you can see the 3 wires coming out of the ceiling. The black, the white, the bare one, and this green one is just like a ground that goes up inside there. It doesn't come out of the ceiling, even though it looks like it comes out of the ceiling, but it doesn't. There's a better picture of your black, white, and bare wires coming out of the ceiling. And the black and the white go to your remote. This is the ground. We're going to ground everything we need to ground with this wire here. And then these wires are going to go to the new fan. And we're going to have to figure out where they go. Most of them are marked. I don't think it'll be an issue. This is the ceiling mounting bracket. It's going to go right, it's going to attach to that mounting assembly that you will find is already up there in your ceiling. And I'm just going to nestle that remote. Is going to go, right in the middle of this thing. I already test fit it. It's going to fit okay. So I don't have to disconnect the remote, the black and the white of the remote. I don't have to disconnect them at all. They're just going to stay the way they are. I'll just have to connect the other wires of the remote to the new fan motor assembly. So let's put this up. Okay, I've got that. You want to put this up there nice and tight. This is basically what's holding the fan up. Okay, so get it tight. I got my 3 wires from my remote coming down to hook up my new remote. I got my antenna. I got my ground wire coming from the ceiling, and then this is just another ground wire, although I guess that's metal. I was thinking it was plastic, but no, I guess it's metal. If it was plastic, they wouldn't put a ground wire to plastic. So that's like a a frame ground or a ground for the ground for all the metal, outside metal parts of the motor. So let's see if we can get this new one up there. I think it's got a little hook to hang it, and then we'll make our electrical connections. Here are the wires that are coming out of the top of the motor. Run the wires through three things. This trim piece, this canopy, and the down rod. You have to have them as they are going to appear when they're finally installed. So you've got to run the wire through there. If you leave any one of these, well, mainly these two pieces here, you're going to have to take it down again and put it back in there. These have to go on, the wires have to run through them, and then we go up to the ceiling. This is very important, so I'm going to show you that. Wires come out of the motor, through this trim piece, through the canopy, and through the down rod, just the way I'm holding them there. That's how they're going to go up and go on. Now, this pin is going to go through the hole in the down rod, and then you're going to tighten up a couple of set screws, and that's what holds the weight of the motor up to the ceiling mount. So I'll show you that when I've got it done. Okay, Froggy took a little lunch break. I'm back now. We've got just a little review. The wires are coming up through the down tube, the canopy, and this trim plate. They come up and they spill out the top here. There's just about enough room to tuck in this remote. The ball, this half of a sphere actually, slides in. There's an opening on this. It's just like a horseshoe kind of shaped thing. It slides in there and goes down, and then we're hung. We've got the motor hung. Now we just have to do the wiring. All the greens and the bare, that's all ground for this metal and this metal. That's house ground. All the greens go together, and I put a wire nut on them, and I tucked it up there. So the greens are done. Now we've got the wiring from the rest of the remote. We've got a black, a white, and a red. A red is the light kit. On this new fan, the blue is a light kit, and I don't have a light kit, so I'm not even using that. So that just leaves us with a black and a red. The black goes to black. The red, it leaves us with a black and a white. The black goes to black, the white goes to white, and that should be it. So usually you will have a instruction manual that shows you the wiring. Let me get a close-up on this. There's a close-up for the wiring for this remote control. You see the red I said was going to blue, so we're not using that at all because there's no light kit. Black is going to black fan, the white is going to white fan. And then we're going to try it before I pop this canopy up and the trim up, and before I put the fans on it. Okay, I'll finish up the wiring and get back. Let me show you how you twist wires together. This is the light kit. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the light kit together as if there was a light kit on here, because I've got to cover those wires up anyway. If I press the remote, which has a light kit button, I would be energizing this red one here, and I'll either have to insulate it or do something with it. So I'm just going to put the light kit wires together. You just hold them together, you strip the ends of the wires, you twist them, and let me put the camera down and twist them. There, you see how I've twisted them together, and now I'm going to put a wire nut on it. The wire nuts come in different gauge sizes, so you want to have the right one. This is a small wire nut because I've only got two small wires going into it. You just twist it on by hand, you tighten it up, you'll feel it tightening it up, and once it's tightened up, it's done, and it shouldn't come loose. And then all these are going to be tucked away underneath the canopy. Alright, so now I've just got my black, black, white, white, and I'm done. Now, before you twist the wires together, black with black, put a twist into the stripped off end of the wire too. That'll help them grab better. Now you want to trim the wires, the bare on the end, so that the wire nut covers everything. Don't trim them too long or you'll have bare wires sticking out here and you could get a short circuit. So all my wires are connected now. Before I start it up, I'm going to just leave this stuff loose like that. Here I have to remove these little rubber bumpers before I put the fan blades on and before this tries to spin it around. This just holds everything for shipping so that it doesn't rattle around and get broken. Okay, so I'm going to take those off. I'm going to go throw my power back on and then I'll see if this spins. Or here, see if it spins right there. Froggy's back. Here we go. High speed, medium speed, low speed, and off. I'm doing that all with the remote. There's the remote. Just going to put the fan blades on now. They have a little, there we go, sorry. They have a little metal piece that attaches. And I think these are actually different than the instructions. The instructions say this slides into a slot. Well, there's no slot. But I think these just screw down and that tightens up this. It'll put a bulge in this rubber which will hold the blade in place. Looks like a hex. I need to use a hex. Yeah, a star wrench to do that. So I'm going to go down into my shop and get a star wrench, and then I'll show you how that works. The last thing you do is install the fan blades. Each one has 2 screws. They have they're self-locking, but you do want to make sure you screw them up there good and tight. Give it a spin, make sure nothing's hitting anywhere, and you're ready to try it out. Take it for a drive. We've got our fan flying. Another successful installation by Froggy. If this helps you out, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. Have a great weekend. Froggy out. Keep your fans spinning.